Hi, Dean here, and if you have one of these combination skimmer and vacuum kits that Intex sells, you'll notice that the vacuum that's included with it is not your traditional vacuum that uses the suction from your filter to pull debris in. What it does is it actually uses water from a garden hose and forces water through the vacuum, and the forced water pushes debris up into a collection bag. And the way this works is just vacuum here. You connect your hose to this, and then on the bottom you have a little outlet there that shoots the water, and there's a hole back here, and the collection bag gets tied to that hole, and the debris gets pushed into the bag, and then you just empty your bag out. This works really good. In fact, you can see the bottom of my pool. It's pretty clear, pretty clean. I cleaned it yesterday with the vacuum, and it does a pretty good job. The problem that it has is if your pool is already filled up to capacity with water, you have to drain some of the water out before using the vacuum. Otherwise, your pool will overflow because you're actually adding water in every time you use the vacuum. This to me is a waste of water because you're draining water out in order to use something. And B, it's just not as effective as I would like to be. It's a time-consuming process because you need to drain some of the water, and depending on what kind of pump you have to drain water out, this could take a little bit of time. So it's time-consuming. It's a waste of water. So it got me to thinking that there's got to be a better way I can do this. And the idea I came up with is thinking about using the output from my filter to push through that vacuum and use the pressure from this instead of the pressure from the garden hose. And I think it should be enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to this pot here, because I'm going to plug the output hole up, pull this out, and then we'll connect to that, and then I'll make a garden hose attachment that'll connect to the vacuum, and it should work. Just a note, I'm using a 1500 GPH pump, so I know it works on a 1500 GPH pump. I got pretty good pressure there, so it should work fine. Anything less than 1500 GPH, I can't guarantee that you're going to have the same result I do, especially if you have the filter that came with the Intex Easy Setup Pool. I believe that pump is only 500 GPH, and I just don't think that's going to be enough power to push enough debris into the bag. Like I said, I'm using 1500 GPH pump, and it should work fine if you have at least a 1500 GPH pump. So that's just something to keep in mind. So let's go ahead and get started on this process. Okay, so here we are. We have pieces that we need to do this. First, I have a 1.25 to 1.25 union here, rubber union that has the clamps. Now, I know some people are going to say that if you're using a saltwater system, you shouldn't use metal clamps because the corrosion of the salt will corrode that. But in my case here, it's going to be external of the hose. It's not going to really contact much water. So I'm not going to worry. And these are cheap enough, so if I do experience breakage or erosion over time, I just get another one of these, only a couple dollars. The next thing I need is a adapter for the garden hose, and this fits. It's a 1 inch to, I believe the adapter is 3/4 inch for the garden hose, and then a piece of 1 inch PVC. The only piece they had in PVC was like short pieces, like 2-3 inches, and they also had like a 2-foot section. If you can get a piece at least 6 inches of 1 inch PVC, go ahead and get that. They didn't have them that long. They only had the really short sections and these 2-inch sections, and then of course the full pipe. So I bought a 2-foot section because that's all they had at the hardware store when I went. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut a 6-inch section from here, and then we're going to connect this in here, and I'm going to cement it. And then we're going to put the union on half of that, and then the other part of that union onto my filter. So let's go ahead and cut this section. Okay, Alright, so we're back, and I got my about 6-inch section of pipe here. That now what I need to do is I need to attach that end to that, so we'll have that something that looks kind of like that. And what we're going to do with that, we're going to do that is we're going to use some primer, and we're going to also use some regular cement. Alright, the way you use this is we kind of open this can up. It's a fresh can, so it's a little bit tight at first. Okay, so we had a little bit of difficulty opening these cans. With the cans I had, I actually had to resort to some heavy equipment. Yeah, they were on there really tight, so I had to pause the video a little bit and start over. So yeah, we got our primer, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of take one end of this and kind of go around here, and there's coat in there. Oh, sorry about the background noise. We had an ambulance go by. I'm a police route, but we'll coat that, and then what we want to do is we want to go ahead and take some of this and apply a little bit on here, and then what we'll do is we'll just kind of put this piece in, and that's our seal. And this is going to dry probably overnight, so I will not keep this video on all that time. I will probably pause and come back, and we'll go on to the next part. So like I said, okay, well, we had to wait for the farting car to go by. It's making a lot of noise, so I'm back. So like I said, with these things, if they're hard to get off, the cap was really hard to get off, just kind of add a pipe wrench to it and it'll break. It did break for me. It was just a hassle. I tried all kinds of that method, that didn't work, so I eventually just went to the pipe wrench. And what we'll do is we're gonna let this set up, which I'll do that overnight, and then I will come back and do the rest. Okay, so I'm back, and after reading the cans, I was originally going to let this set overnight, but according to the instructions on the can, they say only bind for 15 minutes to allow binding. So it only takes about 15 minutes for this to bind up hard enough where you can use. So it's about a half hour or so after I applied it, and we can go ahead and go on to the next step. So what I'm going to do now is I want to take this union, and I'm going to go halfway in on this. Now I know there's a little bit of gap there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it with my screwdriver. So go ahead, get this. I want to tighten it up where it's tight around the PVC, so it gets a good seal, so that way water won't leak out when it goes through. So I'm going to tighten this up really good. Get it as tight as I can. That should be good. Alright, so we got a nice tight fit. Looks like it could probably go a little straighter. I think it's a little crooked, so let's go ahead and loosen this up a bit, get them more square. A little bit better, and then we'll just try and get it square, that way it doesn't cause any like little holes or whatnot. The water seeps through. That looks like it's on better. Yeah, that's definitely on better. All right, so it's tight. It's not going to come out. I think we're watertight where water's not going to leak through here. Now, the next part is I got to take this, and on that filter piece, the output of the filter is going to be screwed into here, or it's going to be inserted in here, and I'm just going to tighten this prong around that, and that should be good to go. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we have our final setup. What I did is we took our garden hose and we attached it to our adapter, and then I tightened the other end of the boot into the output for the filter. The filter's currently running, going through my saltwater system here, and it's not going to have the pressure that you would have with a traditional hose, but it's got enough pressure where it will be able to pull in the debris. As you can see, I mean, it's not as powerful as a garden hose, but it's powerful enough where you can scoop up some debris. And actually, I'm going to try and, well, not that bug, he's taking a swim, but down the bottom you see some debris down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of, or actually better yet, there's some debris over there. Let me try and get this without dropping my camera into the water. And we'll push down. And now the thing is, you got to go kind of slower than normal with this, but it will scoop it up. We'll pick it up. This ain't working. As you can see, it's starting to see some of the debris get collected into the bag. So like I said, it's not as powerful as a traditional hose, but you can still use the traditional hose if you want to do a more thorough vacuuming, and you have room to put water in the pool. But as you can see, I mean, it is collecting. And let me bring this up so I can show you the bag. So as you can see, I'll pull this up. As you can see, we do have some debris in the bag. Even though it's not that powerful, it's still collecting. So that's just a quick way to, you know, attach a vacuum to your outtake for your pool, and do some vacuuming without having to constantly add water. You do it, like I said, you have to go a little bit slower than normal because I'm not getting as much pressure, but it does the job. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope this video helped you, and happy swimming.